This exercise is going to put a little bit of a twist on some of the most common exercises that we see for mobility work, but it's going to add a little bit of a layer of intensity, a little bit more intentionality to what you already have done or seen, which is going to make it a lot more effective and progress it so that you can actually build some strength and ownership and active mobility that will carry over into your daily life. So in this exercise, you're gonna want a kettlebell or stationary object that's pretty heavy that you can use to press up against and kind of like leverage yourself. You're gonna get into the position of grabbing the kettlebell with your hand, laying on your back, and then we're gonna let the knees kind of drop over to the side. Now, depending on the position, so if my knees are lower, I'm gonna feel it in my lower back a little bit more, but if they're higher, I might feel it more in my upper lower back or my mid back. You can play around with the position that you would like it to be in, but what I wanna caution you against is letting your body just kind of like move around a lot. You should just feel that your legs can rotate right to the side as they are coming down. Now, there are a couple things you can do. One, you can let your legs rotate first and then try to grab the kettlebell so that you can leverage yourself. I personally like that better. It feels better for my body, but some people like to grab the kettlebell first, keep their chest here, and let their legs fall to assume the position. The difference is really up to you and what you feel. Once you have found the position and you feel the stretch in through your spine, we should not be feeling any pinching or pain, then we're gonna work on some breath work while we hold this stretch. Maybe the stretch is only 20 to 30 seconds if you're new, but we're working up to a 2-minute stretch. As we are breathing, we are kind of breathing into the spot where we feel a stretch. So we are inhaling slow into that stretch. Exhaling, thinking about reaching our legs away and dropping our chest towards the opposite direction to get a little bit more of a rotation and stretch as we're doing this. So that is going to be the stretch. Now I'm going to show you the PAILs and rails because we're going to build some end range strength and control here. Now PAILs is going to be leveraging both my hand here and the arm that's holding the kettlebell. What we're thinking about doing here is thinking about rotating my legs and my chest together. So that's the kind of movement we're thinking about doing, but we are gonna keep ourselves stationary. So I'm gonna lift my legs into my hand here and I'm not gonna let them go. You should feel this sling, this whole side here kind of contract, and then push up into the kettlebell and hold. We're gonna start very lightly. So just start a very gentle contraction and then start to turn the volume dial up on that contraction until you reach the highest amount that you're supposed to for that session. You're gonna hold that for 10 to 15 seconds and then slowly turn the volume dial down. Then rails is gonna be the opposite contraction. So now you're gonna drive your knees into the ground. We're gonna reach our hip away and then we're gonna reach our chest. So not just my shoulder. I want you to think about your chest right here rotating away. So you should feel like your shoulder blade is coming more towards the ground while your hip is pushing the other way. So we are actively feeling these abs pulling us away and some of our back spine muscles helping us rotate away. So that is going to be your rails contraction. You start light, ramp that intensity up to the desired intensity and hold that for the 10 to 15 seconds for that rails contraction. Once you've finished with that, then you have finished your stretch and one round of PAILs rails. Depending on what you're doing in that session, you might have more that you're doing, so you might rest and do it again, or you might be done, but that is going to be how we implement a little bit more intentionality in this rotation stretch and build a little bit of strength. Make sure you don't feel any pain, you're not pushing into it, and that you are maneuvering yourself so you feel things where you're supposed to. And over time, you should feel like you can push into the stretch a little bit more, contract a little bit harder, and it should feel a lot more mobile and a lot more comfortable, and that is gonna be signs that you've made progress.